Nuclear launch detected. Nuclear launch detected.
Probably one of the most iconic phrases in StarCraft Brood War and StarCraft II. Is there anything more satisfying than watching a single unit take down a massive group of enemy units? Today, we're going to analyze one of the game's most iconic units, the Ghost. Ghosts in StarCraft Brood War and StarCraft II are Terran army units, assassins with a mission to infiltrate enemy bases, have support abilities, and, as you know, they're experts in mass destruction. They're trained in the barracks once we have the necessary technology and possess several key abilities that can help us turn the battle in our favor. Today, in this explanatory video, we're going to take an in-depth look at both units. We'll examine their stats, abilities, uses, and the differences between the Ghost from Brood War and the Ghost from StarCraft II. And if you stay until the end, you'll learn how to make the most of your nukes. Let's get started. Let's analyze these units in both games. In terms of resources, the Ghost in Brood War costs 25 minerals, 75 gas, and 1 supply. It takes 31.5 seconds to come out of the barracks. It has a movement speed of 2.9. It has 45 hit points, range of 7, 8 inside a bunker, and its base attack is 10 concussive damage. If you want to understand what concussive damage is, I've linked a video above where I explain all the damage types in StarCraft Brood War. The Ghost in StarCraft II, on the other hand, costs 150 minerals, 125 gas, and, with the current patch, 2 supply. It takes 29 seconds to come out of the barracks. It has a movement speed of 3.94, 100 hit points, a range of 6, 7 inside a bunker, and an attack of 10, 20 against light units. By analyzing these statistics, we realize that they are completely different units. There isn't a single stat that carries over from one game to the other, and the only thing that remained was the name. On one hand, the Brood War Ghost costs fewer resources, has more range, and requires less supply. But on the other hand, the SC2 Ghost has more HP, higher speed, and greater DPS. Comparing them based on these stats only tells us the differences between the two units. But aside from the name, where are the similarities? For that, we have to look at the abilities they can use. The Ghost from StarCraft Brood War has 3 abilities: Cloak, Lockdown, and Nuclear Strike. In the case of the Ghost from StarCraft II, it has 4 abilities: Cloak, Steady Targeting, EMP Shot, and Tactical Nuke. It's worth mentioning that to activate all of these abilities except for the Nuclear Strike, Ghosts need to use their energy. The Ghost in SC1 can store up to 200 energy and starts with 50, but it has an upgrade that allows it to store up to 250 energy and start with 75. The SC2 Ghost can reach 200 energy and is trained with 50, with no additional energy upgrades. All of this is based on the current patch for the StarCraft II Ghost attributes mentioned in this video, so if there are any future changes, these stats might change. Now let's explain these abilities. Cloak is the Ghost's ability that allows it to become invisible for a period of time using its energy. In both games, it works practically the same. First, we need to get the Cloak upgrade. Once we have these upgrades, our Ghosts can do ghostly things, like move your chairs, open and close doors, and appear in places you didn't expect. This means we can move stealthily across the map without being detected, unless, of course, your opponent has detection. And we can attack or use our abilities from the shadows. This is an upgrade that we absolutely have to research to get the most out of our unit. After all, they're called Ghosts for a reason. We need to create an impact without being seen, and if possible, scare the shit out of our opponents. This ability consumes 25 energy from the Ghost when activated, and in Brood War, it drains just under 1 energy per second, while in StarCraft II, it drains 1.3 energy per second. Lockdown is a StarCraft I Ghost ability that allows us to trap a mechanical unit, disabling it and leaving it completely vulnerable for 44 seconds. Units trapped with Lockdown cannot move, activate abilities, or attack. However, they can be repaired, receive enemy and allied abilities, such as the Medic's Restoration, and most importantly, they can be attacked. It's important to note that lockdown has a very long range, and units like the Observer and the Science Vessel lose their detection ability, while the Arbiter loses its ability to cloak allied units. This ability requires 100 energy to cast and is also upgraded in the Covert Ops. And what about in StarCraft II? Here, Ghosts don't have lockdown, but they do have an even more impressive ability: steady targeting. Using their sniper, Ghosts take aim at a biological unit for 1.43 seconds, firing a projectile that deals 130 damage, or 170 damage to psionic units, ignoring any armor the target might have. This ability has an incredible range of 10, and if the target moves more than 14 range away, the ability fails, returning the Ghost's energy. This is undoubtedly one of the most cost-effective abilities in the game. As mentioned, each Ghost can store up to 200 energy, and this ability only costs 50 energy to activate. The power of this ability is so high that it can one-shot units like Dark Templars, High Templars, Hydralisks, Zerglings, Infestors, Mutalisks, Marauders, Marines, Ghosts, Reapers, Vipers, Banelings, Ravagers, Drones, and SCVs. We can see professional players like Clem making incredible use of these units after transitioning to them in the late game, practically wiping out any Zerg unit that crosses their path.
To make something really happen.
You know, the fact that it's not even just the two bottom right bases. Oh my god, all the Broodlords are going to be going down here. Hold that thought. We have a...
But Snipe isn't the only ability in the Ghost's kit in StarCraft II. We also have the EMP shot. This ability originally belonged to the Science Vessel in Brood War, a unit that's absent in StarCraft II. But the EMP remains part of the Terran arsenal, now in the hands of the Ghost. The EMP is an ability that Ghosts can use to drain an enemy spellcaster's energy, such as a Viper, Infestor, or even other enemy Ghosts. However, it shines even brighter when used against the Protoss army, as it not only drains energy from casters, but also removes 100 shields from Protoss units and structures in an area of impact. This ability can leave units like High Templars almost useless, draining much of their energy and preventing them from casting multiple storms on the Terran army. Additionally, it reveals invisible units, with the exception of burrowed units like Lurkers. Now, let's get to what everyone's probably been waiting for. Mass destruction. Nukes. Nuclear strikes are practically the ultimate ability for Ghosts. They're the most powerful skill in the game, dealing the most damage, and when executed well, they can devastate enemy forces. It's undoubtedly one of the most iconic and satisfying abilities to use in both games. Let's analyze each one. In Brood War, the Ghost can call in a nuclear strike on a targeted point on the map after aiming and remaining stationary for 14.5 seconds without interruption. After 3 seconds, a nuclear bomb will land in the area, dealing either 2/3 of the base HP of units or structures, including shields, or 500 damage, whichever is higher. This means that large structures, like a command center, will take 2/3 of their HP and damage, which would be 1,000 damage, while units like a battle cruiser will take 500 damage. This is explosive damage, so unit armor reduces the nuclear damage. For example, a battle cruiser with 3 armor hit directly by a nuke would take 500 damage minus 3 from its armor, leaving it alive with 3 HP. It's also important to note that this maximum damage only occurs in the direct impact zone. The damage dissipates with range, being reduced by 50% at half its radius and by 75% at the outer edge. Here's an interesting trick with nukes. Unlike in StarCraft II, where the target area of the nuke is very visible, in StarCraft I, it's only marked by a small blinking red dot. So, after hearing the global alert,
Nuclear launch detected.
you have to search the whole map for that damn invisible dot and move your units away from it or find the Ghost within 14 seconds and kill it. But did you know that if you aim just beneath a structure or flying unit with your nuke, the red dot remains on the ground so that flying unit can cover the nuke's target location, making it completely invisible and increasing the chances of hitting your target with the bomb. Now, if this ability seems so strong, why is it used so rarely in competitive games? Personally, I've been following the competitive StarCraft Brood War scene for more than 20 years. I've watched hundreds, if not thousands, of professional games, and I don't think I've seen nuclear bombs used in more than a couple of them. So what's the problem? The problem is how difficult, slow, and costly it is to get ghosts. And even more so, nukes. In StarCraft 1, if we want to get ghosts, we need to have all this technology available. First, we need to build a barracks. The barracks allows us to construct an academy and a factory. After we have the factory, we can finally build a starport. The starport gives us the technology to construct a science facility. And after we have that, we need to attach covert ops. Only then can we get our upgrades for ghosts and train them in the barracks. But that's not all. Now, if we want to launch our nukes, we have to attach a nuclear silo to one of our command centers. And we must keep in mind that the few command centers we have are likely already equipped with a ComSat station to use our scans. So we might have to destroy a scan to attach the silo. Once the silo is built, we can finally construct a nuke, which costs 200 minerals and 200 gas, plus the modest amount of 8 supply. Yes, you heard that right? 8 supply. And all of this, just to launch a nuke that has a high chance of not connecting, or that our ghost will be found in the process, making all this effort in vain. All this takes a lot of time, technology, and resources, and professionals have realized it's better and more efficient to just produce units like Marines and medics or vultures, tanks, and Goliaths. Unfortunately, the Ghost has ended up as a unit we only use in friendly matches with our friends, where we try to pull off the big meme of StarCraft 1, launching nukes and hoping they connect. Fortunately, this changes drastically in StarCraft II. The Ghost here is not a unit that Marines and Firebats can make fun of, nor one that medics would look down on. Here, the Ghost is a force to be reckoned with, a key unit in the Terran army, and in many late-game matches, we see professionals transitioning to Ghosts. Not always with nukes, but nukes are definitely a frequently used ability in competitive StarCraft II, not only for dealing damage, but also for gaining ground, making it a very useful tactic in the Terran arsenal. That said, the StarCraft II nuke is not as devastating as the StarCraft I nuke in terms of damage. A StarCraft II nuke deals 300 damage in the impact area, with an additional 200 bonus damage to structures. Like the Brood War nuke, the damage decreases as objects are farther from the center, dealing 50% in the middle radius and 25% on the outer edge, with a total range diameter of 8 units. While the Ghost is still not an easy unit to obtain in StarCraft II, access to this technology is a bit easier here. We can build a Ghost Academy, from which we can get our upgrades and nukes, which now, thankfully, don't require extra supply and ignore the armor of units and structures. As a fan of the StarCraft universe, I'm a fan of both Ghosts, their dialogues, their abilities, the lore behind them, and my God, that sexy voice gives me chills.
Keep it up, I dare ya. I'm about to overload my aggression inhibitors. Somebody call for an exterminator. Ghost reporting.
And you, which is your favorite Ghost? And what's your favorite ability? Let me know in the comments. And if you're here, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Before you go, I'll link a video here where I explain another key unit in the Terran army, the SCV. This was StarCraft Explained. I wish you all great games and may your nukes connect. See you next time.